Taking none.
This defense is literally trash. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, so what you just witnessed is usually how I am during these games. I usually wait like an hour or two before I sit down and film these videos, so I'm all like cool and composed, but during the game I'm an absolute wreck. I will call anyone out who is playing trash or just one bad like play. I'll be like, God, they're so trash and garbage, because that's how I am during game. I'm sure all of you guys relate and just know the whirlwind of emotions you get when you watch the Saints game, always the last minute. But this game in particular was very, very wild. It was a roller coaster. I mean, my head was pounding, my heart was pounding, everything was just, it was crazy. An overtime win by the Saints at Soldier Field against the Bears. I mean, the Saints keep finding a way to win with, no matter what it is. They always, I think it's 3-4 games in a row now, have found a way to win. It is not a beautiful game. It's not a clean game whatsoever. It's ugly, brutal, sloppy. But somehow we get it done, and at the end of the day, that is all I care about. But we are going to discuss all the stuff that happened in this game, so let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to get started with the MVP of this offense, which is Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara was doing all type of work. We were feeding the ball. Really, with the run game, the Chicago Bears had no answer for him in the first half. They later made adjustments and were kind of slowing him down in the run game. But Alvin Kamara, oh my gosh, he can do it all. Alvin Kamara in the rushing game had 12 carries with 67 yards, and he averaged 5.6 yards. And I mean, he's incredible. And in the receiving game, most receptions. Alvin Kamara is our #1 wide receiver. Alvin Kamara in the receiving game, 9 receptions, 96 yards, averaged 10.7 yards. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't get a touchdown in this game, but I mean, these stats are insane. Alvin Kamara literally was carrying us. I mean, I thought that Latavius would have a bigger game. He only had 8 carries for 17 yards. It looks like he just wasn't getting up the middle. He was just getting stuffed and piled on, and he averaged 2.1 yards. But overall, I could tell that Sean Payton's game plan was to keep the ball in the run game, but like I said, the Chicago Bears eventually adjusted, and Drew Brees, and we kind of got behind, so Drew Brees started taking it into his own hands and making the throws. Kamara was our #1 target. There's a lot of checkdowns and just drop-offs to him. Personally, I mean, I guess I would like if our wide receivers were actually #1 in the receiving game, but I mean, it's Alvin Kamara. He's literally talented. He can do it all. So not necessarily mad. I just wish that maybe some people would have stepped up a bit more. But yeah, too many times we settled for a field goal. I mean, it was the right call to do, just get the 3 points. But we had good going drives, and we just couldn't get into the end zone, which is so disappointing when you have such a long and good drive. Definitely something we need to work on. They did come out explosive. They settled for 3 points, like I said. Just not getting into the red zone, first of all, and then just not being able to get a touchdown whatsoever. So got to work on that. But Jared Cook had 5 receptions, 51 yards. Treqaun Smith, he had 5 receptions, 43 yards. Taysom Hill had 2 receptions, 30 yards, and a touchdown. And Jared Cook also had a touchdown, by the way. And then Deontay Harris had 3 receptions for 19 yards. Deontay Harris gave us excellent field position in the returning game. It was really unfortunate when we weren't able to put up any points, and if we did, it wasn't a touchdown. Just very unfortunate. With Taysom Hill, I don't know what to think. I have very mixed emotions. I love when he's in the offense. I particularly love when he's in the receiving game, posted up as a tight end, which he got a touchdown on. So I like him in that. But the quarterback snaps, with him in the quarterback position, I say I don't understand why we're so we just don't want him to throw, or like Sean Payton doesn't like call a play where it's a throwing play. We just run to the left, run to the right. It's very predictable, and I just don't understand in some certain situation, the defense will like know, and they'll be able to stop them. But then other situations, it's just like they know it's coming, but they just can't stop them. I guess some of it has to go to Taysom because, I mean, you can say all you want, but it's just like really the play calls that Sean Payton gives them. But he will try the hardest to get the first down or whatever you need for him to do. He will do it. But I just want to see him throw passes. I mean, I'm not really, because there's been too many times where it was just like a wasted down. Putting Taysom in and taking Drew out was a wasted down. Now you look at it's 3rd and long and you got one shot, or you're punting it or whatever. So I just feel like sometimes in the right situations you put him in, but there's just too many times this game where I thought Drew should have just stayed in. And if you are gonna run a Taysom play, just like make it a pass play so it's not so predictable. So that's my only thing about them. But I thought the offensive line did pretty good. Drew escaped a lot of sacks. Like, I was just like, how did he not get sacked? I was just like, did he? No, he didn't. Oh, he had one sack. But Drew Brees like was able to like escape, and he even ran a little. I was like, okay, but I'm gonna read Drew Brees' stats. He had 31 completions out of 41 attempts, 280 yards. 280 yards. I didn't think he had that much, but he averaged 6.8 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns, which he is the leader of that record. He took, I think, Tom Brady's. Well, Tom Brady broke it last week. I think he's 1 or 2 above him. Can't remember, but this is going to be a long-fought battle for this record this entire season. I thought Drew Brees played pretty well, pretty good, considering what he was given to work with down your number 1 and 2 wide receiver and Marquez Callaway. It's pretty difficult. I feel like a lot of the load was given to Alvin Kamara, which kind of carried this team, but I'm okay with that. Drew Brees, I don't know if it's more of a Drew Brees problem or a Sean Payton problem, but too many times on 3rd down, this has happened a lot of times this season, where it's 3rd down and Drew Brees just decides to throw it short, and it's not enough to get the first down. I don't understand why there's not play calls, or just why we can't throw beyond or behind the sticks where we can get the first down secured. I'm not sure what the coverage looked like, or if there were any players or opportunities for Drew to make a first down. I'm not exactly sure, but I don't know. That just frustrates me because it kills drives, and obviously you have to punt, and it doesn't result in a touchdown. So that's one thing. I think the offensive line did pretty good. Like I said, Drew Brees only got sacked once, so I mean that's really good. I thought Drew Brees did what he needed to do. The Saints offense did what they needed to do to win, and so we're gonna move on to the defense. The Saints defense. I'm actually very confused how I feel about them. Because I mentioned in my prediction video that if they don't show any signs of improvements, particularly the secondary, that it's going to be a problem, because the Bears, they don't have an elite stacked offensive wide receivers or tight ends in the receiving game. There's not like big names, so they should have a bit of improvement, and they've been struggling on offense. But I said like that doesn't mean that Nick Foles and their wide receivers can't make plays and stuff like that. But said there obviously needs to be some improvement. Obviously, it started off like every Saints secondary starts off. There was that big touchdown play. Just another one where it wasn't really, I wouldn't say blown. He just got beat. I think it was Janoris. Janoris got beat, and it felt like the same thing. Just stopping them 1st, 2nd down, but giving up 3rd and 15s. I just don't understand how one does that if they're able to stop on 1st and 2nd down. They started off like they always do, and they had some adjustments. They were getting some stops, and obviously Marshon Lattimore got an interception, and he could have had 2, but I'm not even sure if he dropped the ball just because the the Chicago Bears went for it on fourth down, and if he caught the ball, we wouldn't have as good of position as we would have if he dropped it. It was an incomplete pass. So, not exactly sure, but I think I would say that they actually showed improvement. Obviously, they showed the same errors at first with tackling. They did clean that up. I think they improved. I will say I think they're improved. I wouldn't say I'm impressed because, again, it is the Bears and they aren't an elite offense. We're going next week. Tampa Bay obviously stacked and loaded with names and big talent on their offense, and it's gonna be a challenge. So I'm not gonna say I'm like stunned and impressed about the secondary in particular, but they did show up when they needed to, and that's crazy about this defense in general. With the pass rush too, they show up when they need to show up, literally in the fourth quarter, when it matters most. And I guess I would like to have that in a defense, but I don't really think we should take the last actually like this is it. You either stop them, like I don't think you should take that, but I can't complain because they always show up. Like I mean, it's just crazy. Like when we went to overtime and Drew Brees, we ended up not even getting a field goal. The defense was put on the field. I was like, it's wraps, honestly, because it's happened way too many times. But they actually get the stops they need, which is it's insane. So yeah, but I'm gonna say they improved. I don't think it's impressive because we'll see how good they look next week. But I will give them a hand. They did look better than in previous weeks, so I guess that kind of answered my question. They did improve. Wasn't really impressive, but I mean, I'll take it. Marshon did better. I think Janoris Jenkins did better. Malcolm Jenkins, he had a couple nice pass deflections. Garder Johnson, I'm sorry, I was thinking about the punch. I thought he had some plays where he slipped up, but overall he did good. I didn't hear P.J. Williams called or Marcus Williams. Didn't hear their name at all, so that means they were actually doing good or decent. So I do think the secondary actually improved. The pass rush was more effective this week. We managed to get 5 sacks on Nick Foles. One of them belongs to Malcolm Jenkins, the other David Onyemata. Marcus Davenport got half a sack. Cam Jordan got 1 sack. Trey Hendrickson got 1 sack, and Sheldon Rankins got a half a sack. So, yeah, the pass rush was very, very good. Like I said, they managed to make some sacks on very, very key moments. Yeah, I'm really happy with the pass rush. I was really concerned. I thought I didn't have to be concerned, but the run defense, because I think David Montgomery was about to get 100 yards on us, and he managed to get 89. Scared me. It was only because he had that one big run, pretty much. So, I mean, I understand that, but I don't want to break that streak that we have, I think, 45 consecutive games. So I think it dated all the way back to 2017. So I didn't want to break the streak, and we did it. So, I thought the run game did pretty well. Wasn't one of the best games, but, I mean, they did decent. As far as Nick Foles, Allen Robinson, David Mooney, and Jimmy Graham, I thought that, I mean, obviously we let up some plays, but I thought we did pretty decent. Neither receiver, any of the receivers had over 100 yards, so, I mean, I guess that's something. But, yeah, at the end of the day, they did give up some plays, but there's really not that much blown coverage. They were there, but they just it was a good effort by the Chicago Bears and just like a bad effort by the Saints, or sometimes the ball was just thrown perfectly. But obviously with blown coverage, it wasn't as horrendous as the other weeks, so we are cleaning up that. And at first there's a little bit missed tackles, but we cleaned up that towards the end of the game and a little bit before that. But yeah, obviously next week against the Bucks, huge test for the secondary. The Bucks is as loaded as an offense as you can get, names after names. It's gonna be a big test, and we'll see. This rivalry is heating up, and man, the NFL people who make the schedule, they knew what they were doing, because making this our first matchup week 1, and then now I forget which week this is, week 8, week 9, I don't remember. But later in the season, right when the Bucks were gonna heat up, as everybody said, and then we have the Saints. So should be interesting. Let me know what you guys thought about this game, though. Any predictions? Just really anything. But yeah, thank you for watching, and peace.